The housemaid, in this best-selling thriller, accidentally revealed the one financial secret that separates the wealthy from the broke. And it's not what you think. Now, you might be wondering, what does a psychological thriller have to do with your bank account? Well, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you will fundamentally change how you view money, power, and the hidden hierarchies that govern our lives. In Freida McFadden's The Housemaid series, we follow Millie, a woman who takes a job cleaning houses for the ultra-wealthy. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is where most people miss the point entirely. The real story isn't just about the thrilling plot twists or the suspense. It's about observation. It's about what happens when someone from the very bottom of the economic hierarchy gets an intimate, unfiltered look at how the top actually operates day in and day out. You see, Millie doesn't just clean their houses, she observes their habits, their routines, their conversations, their relationships with money. And what she discovers, what the author brilliantly weaves into the narrative, is the fundamental, almost invisible difference between how the wealthy think and how everyone else thinks. But before we dive into that earth-shattering revelation, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you actually observed, really observed without judgment or envy, how wealthy people behave differently from you? Here's the brutal truth that most of us refuse to acknowledge. We're all living like financial housemaids in our own lives. We're constantly cleaning up our financial messes, serving our debts, and watching from the sidelines as others accumulate wealth while we struggle to make ends meet. And here's what's particularly insidious about this situation. We've been conditioned to believe that wealth is about luck, connections, or some secret knowledge that's deliberately kept from us. We tell ourselves comforting stories. They inherited it, they got lucky, they had help. It's just not for me. The average person looks at wealthy individuals and sees only the external trappings, the luxury cars, the sprawling houses, the designer clothes, the lavish lifestyle, but they completely miss the internal architecture. Now here's where Millie's story becomes your story. She's working in these opulent households day after day, and she starts to notice something peculiar. Are you ready for this? Because what I'm about to tell you might disturb you. It might challenge everything you thought you knew about money and success. The wealthy don't think about money the way you do, at all. It's not just a different perspective, it's an entirely different operating system. While you're thinking about money as something to spend, something to save, something to worry about, or something to chase, they're thinking about money as a tool for creating systems. They're not asking, how much does this cost? They're asking, what does this make possible? What leverage does it provide? How can this asset generate more assets? In the Housemaid series, Millie observes that her wealthy employers don't just buy things, they buy leverage. They don't just save money, they deploy capital strategically, like a general deploying troops. They don't just work for money, they meticulously make money work for them, often through passive income streams and investments. And here's the kicker. They do this so naturally, so automatically, so unconsciously, that they don't even think about it. It's their default mode. But wait, there's something even deeper here. Something that goes to the very core of human psychology and our relationship with responsibility. This is the true bedrock of their financial freedom. The wealthy have internalized something that the rest of us resist with every fiber of our being. They've accepted complete responsibility for their financial outcomes, not partial responsibility, not conditional responsibility, not if-only responsibility, but absolute, unwavering, complete responsibility. Think about this for a moment. When something goes wrong financially in your life, what's your first instinct? Be brutally honest with yourself. Is it to look for someone or something to blame? The economy, your boss, your circumstances, your background, your parents, the government? Do you feel like a victim of external forces? The wealthy individuals that Millie observes, they've transcended this entirely. They've adopted what I call radical financial responsibility. When something goes wrong, their first question isn't, who's to blame? Or why me? It's what can I learn from this and how can I ensure it doesn't happen again? What was my role in this outcome and what can I control moving forward? They see every setback as a lesson, not a punishment. Now, here's where the story takes a dramatic turn, and where your life can too. This isn't just about observing, it's about embodying. Millie doesn't just observe these patterns, she starts to internalize them. She begins to think like her employers think. She starts to see opportunities where she once saw insurmountable obstacles. She begins to understand that wealth isn't about having money, It's about having a wealthy mindset, a specific way of perceiving and interacting with the world. And this is where most people get it profoundly wrong. They think that if they just had more money, they'd automatically be wealthy. But that's completely backwards. You become wealthy by thinking and acting like a wealthy person first. The money follows the mindset, not the other way around. It's a consequence, not a prerequisite. So what does this wealthy mindset actually look like in practice? Let me break it down for you, point by point. First, they think in systems, not events. While you're focused on your next paycheck, they're meticulously building multiple income streams. While you're worried about this month's bills, they're strategically creating assets that will pay bills for decades, even generations. They're playing a long game, always building infrastructure. Second, they embrace delayed gratification at a level that would make most people deeply uncomfortable. They'll sacrifice immediate pleasures, instant consumption, and short-term comforts for massive long-term gains without hesitation. Not because they're naturally superhumanly disciplined, but because they've trained themselves to vividly see and deeply value the future potential of present sacrifice. They understand compounding. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, they view failure differently. For them, failure isn't something to be avoided at all costs, a sign of personal inadequacy, or a reason to quit. It's data. It's invaluable feedback. It's tuition for the University of Life, a necessary step on the path to mastery. They learn, they adapt, and they move forward stronger than before. But here's what's really fascinating, and this is where the housemaid metaphor becomes powerfully resonant. They understand that everyone is serving someone or something. The question isn't whether you'll serve. The question is, will you serve your fears and limitations, your old conditioning and your comfort zone, or will you serve your highest potential, your grandest vision, and your true economic freedom? So here's my challenge to you. And I want you to take this seriously, because your financial future, and indeed your entire life, depends on it. For the next 30 days, I want you to become a housemaid in your own life. I want you to observe your own financial behaviors, your spending habits, and your money beliefs with the same detached curiosity and keen insight that Millie observed her wealthy employers. Become an anthropologist of your own finances. Start asking yourself the hard questions, the uncomfortable questions. What stories am I telling myself about money? What limiting beliefs am I holding that might be actively sabotaging my financial growth? When I make financial decisions, am I thinking like someone who serves money, constantly chasing it, or someone who makes money serve them, directing its flow? Am I reacting, or am I creating? Because here's the ultimate truth that the Housemaid series so brilliantly reveals: the only fundamental difference between the wealthy and the broke isn't circumstances, luck, connections, or even intelligence. It's the willingness to take complete, radical responsibility for your financial life and to consistently think in systems rather than just reacting to events. Your transformation starts now. The blueprint is laid out. The question is, are you truly ready to stop being a financial housemaid, cleaning up messes and serving debt, and start being the master of your own economic destiny, building a legacy? The choice, as always, is profoundly yours. Make it count.